everyone. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of Team Avatar and my Avatar to the Diversity Mahotsav 2023. I am Riya Sakhardande, your host for the evening. As we start, here are a few hygiene checks for a seamless virtual experience. Please close all other applications on your computer and log out of your organization's VPN to conserve the internet bandwidth. We would like to thank our partners, powered by Partner, Kellogg Brown and Root Engineering and Construction India Private Limited. Supporting partner, Genesis and EPAM Systems India Private Limited. And our outreach partner, MCCI Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Our social media hashtags are hashtag Diversity Mahotsav, hashtag Celebrating Diversity. Do post your experience at Diversity Mahotsav on your social media handles with the hashtags. I would also like to inform you all that the Diversity Mahotsav episodes are being live streamed on the YouTube channel. You can watch the Diversity Mahotsav live on YouTube, so please click on the link that is pasted on the chat window. My dear esteemed guests, welcome to the day 5 of Diversity Mahotsav, where the spotlight shines not only on diversity, equity, and inclusion, but on the very essence of what it means to celebrate our human kaleidoscope. The Diversity Mahotsav is a celebration of our differences and, of course, our collective strengths. Let us commence this remarkable celebration where cultures converge, hearts connect, and, of course, diversity blossoms amidst all the challenges we face. So what is Diversity Mahotsav? Diversity Mahotsav is a month-long festival of sharing, learning, celebrating the uniqueness of every individual and carrying with us the promise of inclusion into the new year. It is hosted by myavatar.com, which is the brainchild of Dr. Saundarya Rajesh, founder, president of Avatar Group. Dr. Saundarya Rajesh is among India's most prominent leaders in the space of women's workforce participation. Avatar, the social enterprise founded by Dr. Saundarya, is India's only organization that provides both strategy and implementation solutions in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Her work in creating careers for women in the Indian workplace is unparalleled, for which she is referred to as the career doctor. Not only is she among the earliest and most impactful voices to speak, write, and teach about gender inclusion, she has also helped hundreds of companies hire thousands of women professionals through Avatar's work. She is a powerful speaker, author, and a very sought-after DEI strategist. Now, folks, as you would know, a few years ago, Avatar conducted a research that unveils the second career ecosystem in corporate India. Out of the so many women that were surveyed, 36% of the women also felt that there is a skill gap owing to their absence from the professional circuit, which acts as a barrier. So today's panel, which is titled Lightning Talks, Returning from a Break and the Role of Upskilling, will explore the pivotal role of upskilling in enabling women returning from career breaks. Addressing the challenges and opportunities faced by Indian women professionals on career break. This session will delve into the strategies, the resources, and the success stories centered around upskilling initiatives. We will spotlight the significance of continuous learning and professional development in facilitating a seamless transition back into the workforce. So in particular, the discussion will focus on the intersection of career breaks, upskilling, and the success stories of women professionals who have navigated these challenges. On that note, let me introduce you to our panelists. We have with us Ramya V. She is the Group Product Manager at Genesis. And we also have with us Shrija S. Nair, Section Manager, Second Vice President, Northern Trust. The session is moderated by my colleague, Dr. Manisha Matthews. She is the Senior Manager, Research and Solutions at Avatar Group. And she is also a part-time academician and has authored a children's book. So over to you, Manisha.
Thank you so much, Riya. Welcome, Ramya. Welcome, Shrija. And welcome to all who've tuned in to the Lightning Talks in the third edition of the Diversity Mahotsav. Um, Thank you all for being here, and I'm looking forward to a very engaging discussion. Let me kickstart this discussion by, quoting to you a conversation that happened between me and my son yesterday. So we have these, did you know sessions. So sometimes we ask each other things that, some things he tells me that I don't know, and something that I tell him that he doesn't know. So yesterday I was doing some research on women's workforce participation, and that was top of my mind. So I asked him, do you know how many women of employable age are actually employed in our country? So do you know what is the difference between? He's a 10th grader, so he's going to give his board exams. So I want him to know some of these things. So I asked him that, and he said that, Amma, I think I don't know exactly what that percentage would be, but if you're asking me that question, then I feel that it must be disturbingly low. The percentage of working women in India must be disturbingly low for you to ask me that question. And, he couldn't be more right, because it is true. If you look at the periodic labor force survey report, if you look at the last year's report, it quotes that it's only 29.4% of women who are actually employed, in the country. So women's workforce participation rate is only 29.4%, as compared to the male workforce participation rate, which is about 80.1%. So you can see that huge gap, and that gap is due to varying reasons. Some women don't get to go to work outside of the house at all. There are some who do work, but because of different reasons like marriage, maternity, motherhood, they are unable to come back to the workforce. And today's discussion in that sense is very, very important, because as an organization that has done a lot of work in the area of second career women, it'll be nice for us to have more discussions like this on how women can return from a break, which is planned or unplanned, and what are the strategies that they can use to upskill themselves as they get back to the workforce. So very excited to start this conversation, and let me begin by asking my first question. Ramya, I'll come to you first. What are the most effective upskilling strategies for women or for individuals during a career break?
Okay. So first of all, thank you, Manisha, for having us here. I would start by saying the first thing that somebody could do is just stay in touch, and connect with probably your old colleagues, your relatives who are in the industry, and get those working insights. It inspires you to understand more about what's going on, and once you have all of this insights coming into you, you could understand where the industry is heading. You could go on to take up courses, trainings, certifications. You could go on to LinkedIn, where there are webinars hosted, and you could just be a little active. So you could probably spend some time of your week or your day, whatever works best for you. But I think the key point is, first is to stay connected somehow, and then you could you could take up, like I said, training and certifications. You could subscribe to some YouTube channels which give you those notifications that yes, there is something new coming up, and then there is a volume 2 or a volume 3, a course which is happening. I think it is also important to just put a post on LinkedIn saying, I need help, and what that I need to do. I think the first important step is to identify what you would want to do, right? And where would you want to actually invest your energy and time in learning? Because I think people who are wanting to come back after a career break, that's the biggest gap. I don't know where to start from. Maybe I cannot. So I was a developer, and I thought maybe I cannot do development again, or because I have to support late night implementation calls, and you're always on that
Yes.
thing. So maybe it's a very demanding role. What do I do next? So I think it's very important to ask those questions first. And once you've identified where and what makes you comfortable, I know that it's not easy. And that's the reason I started with saying that it's very important to build that connect and hear from everybody. But of course, make your own decision. So what works in someone else's life may not work for you. So that's very important to understand. And, based on your own situations, you can make that decision. So you could take training certifications, you could go to YouTube, watch videos, you could go on LinkedIn, and have mentors, have sponsors, and people. And like I said, also talk to your colleagues as to where they are, and what is it that they are doing. So say after 3 years of that gap, we left at a point that we were probably trying to do something in that project and that work. So what exactly are you doing now? How has the world changed? How has the business world changed completely? So I think it just helps in it just helps with networking with different people, and staying motivated.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ramya. That makes a lot of sense. Of course, one has to be in touch with colleagues and with general, industry people to see where they are. What's happening currently, even while you are on break, right? So thank you very much for that. Yes, Shrija, we'll come to you with that question.
Yeah, so I'll second Ramya what she told about networking. So actually, personally, I relate to this very closely. I
Yeah.
left my career just before COVID, and I didn't intend to have a long break, honestly. I thought in a year I'll join back, but it was a very bad time, honestly. It was difficult to come back to the banking industry. I am from a banking industry. So yeah, through my journey, one thing I was sure that if I want to be back, couple of interviews when I gave, there was a lack of confidence in me, and I felt that I am not up to the trend what is today. So upskilling is something which I have to do. There is no choice about that. But yeah, again, I came from a core banking background, and then I wanted to pivot my career and do not want to go back the same thing I was doing. So I wanted to try out some international space, and you have a lot of exposure today, and a lot of global banks are working in India, and you have a lot of opportunities. But again, you do not know the way how to go there,
Correct.
how to be there. So you have to carve your way on your own, because you have to make that choice what exactly you want to do next. So as Ramya said, that is your choice. Like, what works for Ramya might not work for me, and it's similar to others also. So yeah, so what I did is, like, during that year, I realized I need to upskill. I started doing a couple of courses. Of course, I stayed in networking throughout my career journey, and post that also, I used to keep uh, taking inputs from my industry people, and also through LinkedIn, I connected with new people who are working in the global banking sector, and I did 1 year masters in financial technology, which is like the up what do you call, it is the trend today, like what it is new today in financial sector. And whatever is new to this my sector, I kept myself to that. And also I did other courses, I upskilled myself to have that confidence. It was just individual centric, honestly, I would say, because I didn't know how to go, so I carved my way out. And also insights from my industry people helped me out, and it gave me an edge during the interviews further. And of course it took another 1 year to be back to the industry, but I'm very happy today where I am. And of course, Avatar was one of the, push because of which I got this job and all. But yes, upskilling is something, it has to be a continuous, and you have to focus on your continuous improvement. And even of some of my friends who are on a break, they'll ask me, how did you come back and all that? I would have only one thing to say, that, just give 1 hour to yourself of the 24 hours. And in 1 hour, just explore yourself, be out
Yes.
there, be it LinkedIn, working on your CV, working on your LinkedIn profile, connect with people. That 1 hour you should give to yourself. So that kind of helped me. Like, of course, you will be a mother, you will be a new mother, especially during those times people leave their jobs.
Yeah.
So it won't be easy to balance it out, but 1 hour should be yours in those 24 hours. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's great, Shrija. Thank you so much for sharing your personal story. And I agree with you. I think at least 1 hour a day, if one can spend, and it's hard to find that 1 hour when you're a new mother.
Exactly.
But if you can do that, then you can ensure that you stay in touch and you network, and you are not completely out of the workforce in that sense. So my next question to both of you would be, so how can women who are on a hiatus stay updated with industry trends and technological advancements? So some of the things that you said about, like doing a course and stuff like that, what else can be done? So I'll come first to you, Shrija, this time.
Yeah, so yeah, first would be like the whatever during COVID only we have seen that, a lot of institutes have online courses. So that was not available if you see before COVID times. It was not
Correct.
that much as you have today. So there are platforms like Coursera or many other platforms. I
Yes.
started my journey from there. If I would
Mhm.
like at my journey, I started just exploring what all courses are there. It's because I was just out of touch in my 13 years of career journey before towards education. But yeah, I used to do a couple of courses, certifications, which is required, only required ones. But to upskill yourself and to enforce that change in your life or embrace that change in your life, you need to put an extra effort. So
Sure.
I started exploring the different platforms which are available, and honestly, there are lots.
Mhm.
Post COVID, you have a lot of things you can directly be associated with really good institutes, B schools, and top-notch colleges of this country, and even abroad. For example, if you have, there are many institutes and universities in US and UK who have collaborative courses with our institutes. So you
Mhm.
can just, there is a lot of things online only. You need not go anywhere for that. So
Correct.
you need to actually, as I told, you have to see what works for you.
Mm.
So, do you want to absolutely pivot your career to a new industry, or you just want to, take forward the same journey like I did
Yes.
from domestic banking set up to international banking? So, I wanted to do that. So, that's how I paved my way. So, it might work for different people and different these things. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, in during COVID, there were a lot of online courses that were floated, and even the Harvard Business School had some online courses which were
Yes.
free of cost for people to
Yeah.
take those certifications. So absolutely. I'll come to you, Ramya, with the same question.
Sure, Manisha. So, apart from what Shrija mentioned, I think I would like to add that LinkedIn has a lot of communities, like,
Yes.
return to workforce, and there are multiple communities. So for I think
Mm.
it's good to just join that, understand there's a lot of help which is provided. There
Mm.
are a lot of mentors. uh,
Mm.
there is a very guided approach towards how you could upskill yourself, what courses could you take, and in
Mm.
different areas and domains.
Mm.
So like what so you can choose your area of interest. You can
Mm.
form those cohorts, you could be part of those groups, you can
Mm.
learn together, share your learnings, because it's very difficult for say for a new mother to just
Mm.
read or learn on her own and stay
Mm.
motivated. So if you have a buddy along with you,
Mm.
it
Yeah.
really helps you. And so there are a lot of sponsorships also available for taking higher education and courses and all of that. But I
Mm.
think a buddy and a group which is tied to you, and where you can
Yeah.
share your experiences and learn together, it really
Mm.
helps. It can it reminds me of my college days when you have not studied something, and you have your close friends, and you just share that knowledge
Yes.
quickly just before the exam, and you're like one chapter done, right?
Yes.
It really helps when you have people with you. I think the other thing I would say is there are also a lot of internship programs which a lot of
Mm.
companies organize, right? And
Mm.
you could just join that and see if things work out for you. There are some mentorship courses and programs that companies have.
Mm.
So they train you on a lot of things. You could also get a stipend if you want, based on how that agreement is. But if you try to get into an internship program, if you're like really serious in returning to
The
after career
workforce.
break, it will directly give you that touch and sense of professionalism. How do you get back? I remember when I had joined back after a career break, my first thing was I was reading those emails 5 times before clicking on the send button.
Yeah.
There's a lack of confidence in you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And these internship programs really help you. It just reminds you that, you were a professional, some time back, and, and you can do it again. It's not that, it's just that, you have those self bias that, and you're low on confidence and things do not work out. But I think these internship programs, again, they give you a very guided approach towards learning and growing. And there's also, there are goals which are set. It is very important to have these goals, and I'm not saying just wish an outcome, but then it's very important that you know what kind of an outcome do you really want out of the time and effort that you're spending, right? And
Yes.
what would be the kind of reward? Only then you would try to chase for it, and you would spend that 15 minutes or 1 hour or whatever, right? You would try to squeeze in time and do all of that. So I think, yeah, apart from all the training, certifications, everything, these are the other two things which I would say that really helps others to, individuals to stay on track with what's happening in the business world.
Absolutely agree with you. And because you spoke about mentorship, and that's my next question. So what roles do you think mentorship and networking play in the re-entry process of women into the workforce? So Ramya, if you can start answering that.
Okay. I think I would, I touched upon breaking the
Yes.
bias, right? I think that's the first and the foremost step towards anything.
Yeah.
At times, individuals feel that maybe they are not as good now. They have kind of an inferiority complex as to how things would turn out. And, these mentors, they can help you instill that confidence in you, give you those working insights, give you those small assignments. I think it's important to also work on your communication, your confidence, your attitude. It's not just about those hard skills where you just learn a course on AI or data or something like that.
Correct.
Very important on how do you develop yourself as a person. And a lot of self-help books are available, and if you don't have time, you could just go through those animated summaries which are available on YouTube or audiobooks or whatnot, right? It just gives you the gist of what needs to happen there. So I think mentorship, first step is that they help you break the self-bias, which is very, very important. Second, I think again, they help you coach on what courses to take. At times you do not have the time to do a lot of research on, so a coach or a mentor can ask you those intriguing questions, and which will give them a sense of what is it that you would like to do in your career, and what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what kind of a job role might be good for you, and they can also help you network with people who are who actually want a person like that. And so they can help you with networking. They can again give you those like straight answers, like go ahead, do this course, and this is how it will help you, and build you that confidence. It helps you in reducing your time that you would take otherwise for a research and all of that. So they could then turn into sponsors when they could write a recommendation, or they could help you get into the industry through their own channel. So that's also a key point. I would say mentors would, in short, be the buddy for you, where you could just open up and just share who you are, because that would help the mentor to also guide you in the most right possible way.
Correct.
And
Thank you
to
so
find a
much.
mentor, you could probably just write a post on LinkedIn and say, I am looking for mentors, and people would just reach out to you. And so I think you don't have to be shy. You could just shamelessly reach out for help. And the industry, there are a lot of people who are wanting to help. So just don't be shy. is what I would say, and reach out.
True, absolutely true. And LinkedIn has now become the biggest online professional network, and that's the place where you can actually, like you said, go shamelessly and ask for help, any kind of help, with a job,
Yes.
with mentorship, with networking, anything. And that's also the place where I believe you would find, what all events you could attend, conferences you could attend, from where you could upskill. So absolutely correct, Ramya. I'll come to you, Shrija, with the same question. So roles of mentorship and networking in getting women back after a career break to the workforce.
Yeah, I think Ramya has covered it all, but yeah, I would also second all those things what she told. But for me, more than mentor, I used to have idols in my life. I would say, like during my career, also some women in leadership, especially, I am inspired by them a lot. Of course, I and they might have different paths to be there, but yeah, someday I want to be there. Is the constant feeling I have, when I am working every day, and there is some ambition to it. Of course, break and all is not a big deal if you have in this in you, that there are constant drive inside you that you want to be there someday. So that constant force always motivated me, and my break didn't hinder my confidence level. But as she told, like even for to write a email after a break uh, becomes become very underconfident and all those things. It takes a little time. After a week you will be maybe back to normal. But yeah, it for the first mail, even my hands were like, I have to refer to my boss before sending it out. Even at this position, you are like a little struggling with all those things. So mentor is somewhere, like today's organizations, they when you join the organization, they have a buddy system. So of course you need a buddy, you need some guidance to move forward. And yeah, of course in a month or two you will be back to normal. But after a break, it is jittery to come back to the industry. It's not easy. And secondly, about the networking thing, I would say, like, yeah, networking is something, it should be constant as well, because you never know who will help you where. And it helped me as well. Like before coming here, in between I had did a couple of jobs. So there my networking helped. My previous organizations, colleagues, they had some networking in some other banks. So that way. So you never know how the industry is connected. And that I only came to know when I was in a desperate position to have a job during my break. So
Right.
both of these things play a very prominent role when you are on a break. Or otherwise, also networking is something, it is inevitable. You have to be, if you are a professional, you have to network.
Right, right. And a lot of women shy away from networking. And
Yeah, I think that is something cultural, I would say, that
yes,
we are not we are generally shy, and our cultural this thing also conditioning is something, we are shy and all those things. But yeah, you put yourself out there. There is social media, there is LinkedIn and platforms like this. No need to shy. Whatever, even if some baseless questions also arises in your mind, just put it out there. You never know what helps you. And of these things, you come out and you become confident.
yes, absolutely. And another thing that you mentioned, which I really like, is the talk, you talked about role models, that you should have a role model, somebody who inspires you to get back to work, somebody who inspires you to achieve something more from your career than you've already had. So that also, I think, is a very, very important aspect. So already both of you shared some personal stories, but specifically to ask you, could you share a personal experience or a success story where upskilling has significantly impacted the journey to re-entry into the workforce? So your story, or anybody else's success story that you have seen in your teams or in your organization, anything will do. So I'll come to you, Shrija, first.
Yeah, so I already mentioned in our previous discussion. So during my break, I did masters from IM in financial technology. And Ramya also mentioned about this, group help group. So honestly, it was the group which I had. We were, segregated in groups in the initial of our course only. And because of COVID, we were in virtual setup and we couldn't connect more in a physical. Of course, during the end of the course, we were there in the campus and all. But initially, we were, virtually connecting with each other. And in a year, we didn't know how close we became. It mostly we were from similar industries, financial or banking sector, and all those things.
Yeah.
But that group helped me a lot in, regaining my confidence. I would share everything, of course, we would work on projects, and all those things. But of course, somewhere, that lack of confidence I had during my break, that how will I get back and all those things. But that network made me so confident. Agar tumko nahi bhi mil gaya, to I am there for you. So that kind of thing, pushes you more, and you want to prove yourself doing the best for your team. And all those things kind of helped me. That one course kind of, was pivot to my career, I would say. And yeah, it gave me an edge during my interviews after that course completion. And when I even before the completion, I got the job, a couple of offers as well. But yeah, that gave me an edge because, I was structured when I was presenting myself up there in any of the interviews. So definitely upskilling is something which helped me personally. And of course, I believe in, keeping up yourself up to the trend and to the industry, uh, be close to it wherever you want to be close to that industry. What is new is happening. So it triggers you, read more, interact more, and be out there. That's all.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shrija. And I'm so glad that you had such a supportive network, and I wish every
Yes.
woman who's returning back to work gets that kind of support. Over to you, Ramya.
Sure. So I would say that I started as a developer. So I got a campus placement from Delhi University. I went to TCS. I did my training. I was a developer for 4-5 years there. I then had some pregnancy complications due to which I had to, take a break. I was put on complete bed rest.
Okay.
So, however, I was actually also doing my MCA at that time. And I was 8 months pregnant, and that's when I had to, give my final semester exams.
Right.
So, and I did that. So I really studied, and it was like, if you miss this opportunity, then you wait for another 1 year, to get your degree. So
Yes.
somehow I managed to give that exam and get my certification there. So I was on a break for about a year. At that time, it was, yeah, there is kind of a self-pity, a guilt, things like, because when you join an organization, after a campus placement, you're super motivated. You have so many dreams, you have so many goals, that this is what you want to achieve in your life. And suddenly when you just take that break and you're out of the out of your work life, you have this guilt in you somehow, that what will happen to all of that which I was thinking about. And suddenly this is this new situation in my life, and how do I fight with this? So I think what I used to do is, I used to remind myself of the work that I was doing, where I had left off, because I was initially, when people join, the freshers join any organization, they are motivated because that's the only thing that you have in your life, that you have
Yes.
build a great career, right? No, I don't think it's very rare that people would feel that, oh, I just don't want to work, or I just don't want to earn money, I don't want to be rich. It's it's not it's very rare. So
Yes.
I think it's very important to first remind yourself as to where you left off. And if you have to get back, what is it that I would need to do next, right? I know
Yeah.
that this is the situation. I understand that the priorities change, but I think your goalpost and your dreams and whatever you had before leaving the work, it's important to just remind yourself. Once you have that reminder, it gives you that drive, that yes, now I have to learn, I will have to, because I'm losing out on some time where my peers are probably now getting promoted, they are moving to new roles and doing all of that. So once you have that drive in you, I think then you would start to learn. And I was a developer, I moved into product management later. So that is a totally different role, right? So I had to uh, do all the agile certifications. I also recently completed a design thinking course from Stanford. So upskilling is the key to success. You should not let it loose, right? You have to keep yourself up to date with whatever is going on. And yeah, and I this is a very funny story. So when I joined after my break, and I was very low on confidence. I said, uh, I I don't know who to talk to. Like, what do I do? It was a joining day, and I see a woman, and she comes to me, and she generally talks, and she says that she was on a career break, and she's joining after 3 years. And I'm like, oh wow! And she said this is her second career break. So, and I'm like, oh, is it really normal that people can go on career break and come back and still work? And
Yeah.
does the industry, or the company really accept you, or are you looked down upon, and all of that? So I think that was a turning moment of my life where I felt, oh, it is normal, it is just
Yeah.
okay. I think it's
Yes.
very important for everybody to understand that it's not necessary that we may be the champions on day one, or in the first year. It is okay, because it's like a speed breaker where your car gets a little slow for some
Yeah.
time. But that doesn't mean that you cannot reach the destination before other cars or whatever, right? So
Yes.
so the that growth mindset and your ability to keep learning and upskilling yourself really helps you in moving forward.
Yeah, Ramya is only
Absolutely.
talking about like 2 or 3 years break. When I joined, like with me, one of my colleagues joined after 8 years gap. So it is, the world is unstoppable. If you want to be there, you will be there. So you should
Yes.
not
Yes.
think. But yeah, when we have a break, we are low on confidence levels, and you do not know much. You do not have much of references. Honestly, I didn't have any references. And my mother myself was a working woman, and she was also skeptical. Why are you leaving? I managed. Why can't you manage? So all those things, and a lot of people will, even your own family won't support you at times. But if you want that break for yourself, you have to take that decision, and that
Yes.
is a calculated risk you have to take. So
Hmm.
it is all calculated, and means I knew that I'll get back, but how will I get back? That way was not easy. But
Yeah.
yes, but I am here again, as I said. So it is, you can take career breaks and you can come back, but you should not, the light inside you should not die. That you have to keep going. Yeah,
Absolutely, I agree. We just have to normalize women returning to work.
exactly.
It
Yes,
has to be normalized. It is like usual. Like, okay, you had a break, you come back, and they should be accepted the way they are. And
yes, yes.
uh, so my next question to both of you is: how can companies and organizations better support women returning from career breaks, especially in terms of upskilling and reintegration into the workforce? So, Shrija, would you like to go first?
Yeah, this also I would feel I very closely relate to this. In my current organization, when I joined, so you have to join a work stream, okay? So I joined diversity, equity, and inclusion because I came through that. So
Excellent.
yeah, I am running that work stream in my organization, and we have events like these. So we call speakers, panelists, and experiences. And actually, this inspires Manisha. Like I have seen,
Absolutely.
people coming back to me. We'll have, small games on the floor itself. It would be impromptu. And
Hmm.
not only these kind of things like other painting competition or anything, but, there is a meaning attached to it. We'll give what, diversity means, what inclusion means, and, all those things. And when I am driving it, because I came from DEI and in the organization, it is very inspiring for me and to
Hmm.
inspire other people, who are like struggling. Especially, I have seen the new mothers. They are like high on emotional level and as well, and are unable to balance the
Yeah.
shift and these things. But yeah, means that is something. It is very empowering as well.
Yeah.
So not only that, the second point I would, and these days organizations are very welcoming. At least for
Hmm.
me, it worked. I didn't. Nobody asked me, you were on a break. Why were you on a break? Those things don't happen because today's organizations accept from where we left. So
Hmm.
they are not considering the break thing, okay? So nobody asked me. They will judge you on how you are performing today.
Mm.
So that bias is slowly fading away. I'm not sure. My experience was really good. I'm not sure what is happening on the other side. But honestly, I feel DEI works very strongly in a lot of MNCs today.
Okay.
Second thing is like, yeah, what organizations can do is, especially for mostly women leave during their pregnancy, or most of us today have post-pregnancy complications or pre-pregnancy complications as well. So
Correct.
for that, we really need a break. Okay. And
Mm.
we cannot help, we cannot manage office and home during that time. It is very tough. So yeah, during that time, either the organizations can take like how Indian governments give childcare leaves other than maternity leaves. It can be unpaid. We do not want to get paid, but at least 2 to 3 years they can give a childcare leave so that they can take care of their home, and until the child is like 2 or 3 started going to a preschool, they can be there with the child. Because these days even grandparents cannot be a much of a support because they already are old. We are getting married late, we are having kids late. So things and dynamics in today's world has changed. So we need
Yes.
to accept those change, embrace it, and how organizations can help. We need to educate
Absolutely.
the organizations that this is what we need, this is what women need for 2 3 years. Just
Mm.
do not throw us away, just or don't force us to leave, just keep us there. We'll come back, definitely we'll come back on. They can work around something like that, is what I feel.
Right. Thank you, Shrija. Ramya, any best practices in your organization and other organizations that you've seen which help women upskill and reintegrate after coming from a break?
Yeah, I think the most important thing for anybody who is re-entering, and I think even today that helps me, is flexi working.
Mm.
Very hard for new mothers or mothers who've been working to just stick to the
The
timeline,
timings.
right?
Yeah.
Because it really helps if and my organization is super supportive, so I'm just
Mm.
blessed to be there. So if you have flexi working where your goals are set,
Mm.
these are the outcomes that you need to achieve.
Mm.
How you do it is absolutely up to you, right? So
Mm.
you would want to just so I think flexi working is first and the foremost thing, which is super
Correct.
helpful. Second,
Mm.
I would say is like Shrija mentioned, there are these diversity groups. So we have
Mm.
a diversity circle, we
Mm.
have women circle, we have
Mm.
new joiners circle. So
Mm.
there are different circles within
Mm.
our organization, and people can just be themselves. I think it's
Right.
very important that you could just remove your superficial you, that you're the best, and you have to always show up to work as the best person in the team and all of that. I think it's very important that the organization gives you that platform where you
Yeah.
could be just you could just be vulnerable, you could just share those stories where you failed and
Mm.
accepted, right? So
Mm.
we do a lot of offsites, and our so one of the themes is just be vulnerable, just come and share a story that made you most vulnerable, and just be
Right.
okay, right? You're at an offsite, you're sitting in Goa at a beach, but then talk about it, right? So you're given all those comfort levels. So
Mm.
and I think also companies can help support, do a lot of training certification, like I just mentioned. So I completed a design thinking course from Stanford. It was
Mm.
completely
Yes.
sponsored by Genesis.
Right.
There are a lot of other training certifications that you could do. Um,
Mm.
I was at the Best of the Best conference that Avatar had.
Okay.
So
Yes.
so my organization sponsored that travel. That you could do
Correct.
that. So giving those opportunities for these employees to represent their company during NASCOM and different conferences, meeting with the customer, and giving all of these circles. I think so. Genesis has something called as employee experience, which they keep at the top, like along with
Right.
customer experience. So it
Mm.
is. So there are a lot of holidays, flexi working. So a
Mm.
lot of comfort level is actually baked into the system. But then, yeah, there is also a drive in you to grow. And
Mm.
when you see that there are opportunities for growth, for
Mm.
promotion, for visibility, for presenting to the leadership, and all of that. So these are opportunities that organization gives you, and
Right.
at the same time gives you that comfort level that you could achieve it on your own pace, and how you do it is up to you, right?
Right.
And it's not like just do a 9 to 5 and that's what makes me happy. Rather, you could choose your own ways and means to achieve that.
Right. Thank you so much, Ramya. So, in the interest of time, and so that we can take some question and answers also from the participants here, I would go ahead with the last question to both of you, which is, how can one manage the confidence gap and the potential imposter syndrome when returning to the workforce after a break? Both of you talked a little bit about self-limiting beliefs, right? So, how would you manage that? Shrija, would you like to go first?
Uh, I I have nothing much to say here. I think we have already shared all those experiences. But yeah, means what should I say? I think Ramya, you go first, and then I'll
Sure,
take it
sure.
on.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I would say that first, it is very important that you read a lot of books. If you're not able to read, I said, you have audiobooks, you have those animated book summaries, you have so many things, right? That those self-help books that trigger a lot of drive in you, right? And help you change your mindset, because mindset is the most crucial thing for everything, right? So if you're able to work on that, I think for women, uh, so like Shrija mentioned, there is this cultural thing, right? That do not
Yeah.
talk to strangers, like,
Hmm.
and isn't women hold themselves back in doing networking and, just reaching out and, because the mindset and our culture just tells you that it's probably wrong. You're not a right girl if you're doing that, right? So I
Right.
think all of that, so you have to just break that self bias.
Mhm.
And network, you have to, and I'm saying network just does not stop at your professional network. Just
Hmm.
go talk to strangers,
Hmm.
if at a mall, at a grocery store, you're with your neighbor, a new neighbor, just talk. It's
Hmm.
very important that you start to have those conversations which instill some confidence that yes, you will be able to talk to some strangers. I think that's what I tell my kids also, right? That it really helps to just go and talk to somebody, right?
Hmm.
Because when you have a new interviewer, you're meeting somebody for the first time, you have those goosebumps, and I don't know what will I say, how will I be judged, and all of those perceptions, right? So when
Hmm.
you talk to a lot of strangers, and you could say that I would talk to two strangers today, and it could be just anybody, it could be a security guard, it could be anybody, and just have a conversation, a small one, right?
Yes.
So that really helps. I think for women it also helps, when they just dress up well, it gives you that confidence, and you
Confidence, yeah.
see that, yeah, okay, now I can present myself. And so I think women have different ways and means, and we
Hmm.
need not copy what men do.
Hmm.
There's a very different way in which women can carry themselves very gracefully,
Hmm.
and build that confidence. So all of this I think really helps. So read books, talk to strangers, and
Yeah.
that's how you can start networking.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Then
since you say, yeah.
sorry, the last point is to feel, just to tell yourself that all of this is okay. If even if
Hmm.
you're making mistakes, you're not able to pick your kids, at the time when the daycare closes, and you were late, you need not have that guilt. It is
Guilt,
very
yeah.
Absolutely.
important
Yeah.
that, you could build those friends and networks, with your neighbors, and, I don't know who all, but,
I know.
I shamelessly ask for help, right? I am going to be late tonight. I have a dinner at office which I cannot miss. Can you pick my kid? And
Hmm.
can you have the kid? Maybe I will order the food for the entire
Hmm.
family, but can you
Hmm.
just pick the kid on time, right? And
Hmm.
all of that. So I think it is very important to just ask for help, and
Yes.
and and you will figure it out on the way.
Yes.
It's not necessary that today you will feel as if I'm doing something wrong. How will I leave my kid? What will happen? The world has changed for me. But trust me, when you just jump into this pool, you will figure it out. You would swim
Yes.
and reach to the end. It may take some time, but just feel that, because see, as a new mom also, you build a lot of patience and resilience use those traits at work, and
Yes.
you will see that you're coming up with so many innovative ways of managing your household situations that, you'll be like, yeah, it's all okay. So,
Great,
yeah.
great points there, Ramya. We've all taken that sort of help. That's why
Yes,
we are
I
here.
know.
So,
Yes,
Shrija,
we
you want
have
to
to
add
be.
something? Yeah. You
Yeah,
want
we
to add
have to
something in it?
be like taking helps, and as we already mentioned about that cultural conditioning. So it is difficult for us to go out initially, and I have been in one organization for 13 years, so I was in a comfort zone. I never expected that these things will happen. It was all of a sudden my life changed during that break when I took a conscious decision to quit and come out. So I didn't know anybody outside my organization. Though I was in a banking sector, I traveled in 5 different locations, worked in 5 different branches and across North India, Rajasthan, even rural areas in Rajasthan, I worked, Delhi, NCR, starting from there. So from a city life, I, moved to a rural lifestyle from a slow pace, all those things. Even you do not know Marwadi, but you have to learn Marwadi from a Malayali. I had to become a Marwadi also. So those kind of exciting things also happen, but it
Mm.
impacts you in different levels. You have to manage your family also, you have to manage your career also, and you have to manage all those things. The language, the cultural change.
Yeah.
Now moving from Delhi to Bangalore was another shock to me. But I
Yes.
have learned, and I was not a very outgoing person. Honestly, I was a people manager, so with my people, I was headstrong and all those things. But when it comes as an individual, I'm being vulnerable here, but yeah, this is the platform where I can be, I guess. But when I was here, it was not, it is not easy. I don't know how people would be welcoming or not, or all those. My confidence level was lacking on all those areas because
Sure.
I am a little shy and I socialize, but to what limits I can be vulnerable, and to what. So today I came across a term called coffee badging. So why do you go to office? So my job doesn't give me that flexibility of having flexible timing, because we have deadlines and we have to complete those things in time. So you do not have that time flexibility in my profession in banking sector overall if you go. But yeah,
Right.
I go for coffee breaks and make sure that I network on a daily basis. And
Great.
it is not necessary that I go with wo lunch ke sath I go for with the same person, or same person I'm going for a coffee with. I try to connect with different people today. And
Right.
it was not usual in my previous organization. I used to have one set of friends, I go with them and that kind of a thing. But
Right.
it kind of has changed in me over the last 1 year. Also, my organization gives an opportunity to connect with senior management. You can fix up a call. There's a platform which we called iConnect and all those things. So we connect,
So,
we have
Shrija,
that
I'll
opportunity to
have
connect.
to interrupt you here because we have a few questions which also we have to
Yeah,
take.
sure,
So
please,
both of
please,
you
yeah.
have to take those questions. So, sorry for interrupting you, but let
No,
me
no,
just
no
ask you
problem.
the questions because the participants here would like to hear from you. So, the first one
Yeah.
is, how do we respond to interview questions when asked to explain the lack you have due to being out of the industry? And how do we fare against those candidates who are already in the industry? So just take one minute, or either of you can answer. We have 2 more questions and just 3 more minutes left. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I will go here. So
yeah.
when somebody asks you like that, you can, but if you have done some upskilling, you can, emphasize on those things. Like, I took a break. It was a calculated risk, and I took for personal reasons. Definitely, no shame on that. Okay, so you have to express yourself, emphasize on your upskilling, and you have to tell that yes, I wanted to be back in the industry. It took a bit of a time, but yes, I'm here, and because of I am keeping myself up to the trend today, and I know what is happening in the industry. You have to emphasize on all those things to make them, aware that, yeah, you are not behind. You have not done anything. You are doing something to be here and being interviewed. So I think
Great.
that confidently you have to emphasize on your upskilling.
Absolutely. Anything you'd like to add, Ramya?
I would just say that I think the interviewer just wants to understand what kind of an attitude you bring in. Because
Hmm.
if you are, looking for just money from the organization and not wanting to do a value add, I think that's the only thing that they would want to judge out of that conversation. So
Yeah.
if you're welcoming enough to, to grow and learn and be able to come up with the rest of the people, I think you should be good. It's absolutely okay when you're coming from a break.
Sure. The next question is, do the companies you work for offer career returnship? If not, it would be great for you to be pioneers to put the word out there. I'm sure you'll take that.
Yes, of course. Like as I told, I am from a DEI work stream, and we absolutely promote, women returnees, and I am one among them. And I came through DEI only, so I can proudly say not only my company. There are many companies out there. So you have to. Even I didn't know before coming here that such platforms are there, because I worked in a very Indian domestic setup of a bank, and MNCs offer a lot of these kind of opportunities, which we are not aware. But you have to be open to, maybe, for example, I was open to change my location from Delhi to Bangalore. So that
Okay.
all openness you have to be there.
Flexibility. Yes,
You need to be a little flexible also, and
absolutely.
everything won't be served to you on a plate as you want. You have to be little flexible, and definitely you have to be out there, search which organizations are offering. Most of the MNCs today have these DEI work streams who take you back. So
Right.
definitely, yeah, be confident, and of course there are opportunities there.
Ramya, in your organization,
Yes.
is there?
And
Yeah.
I'm leading the diversity hiring initiative
Yeah.
for
Oh, great.
NI.
Awesome.
So feel free to get in touch with me.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
the last question is returning to work easier for women who've been in tech? I see that I even see job openings which are over 90% for women in tech who've taken a break. What about the rest of us?
I think Ramya would be more,
Yes.
Sure.
can
So,
answer this. Yeah.
yeah, I think, like I said, so there are these internship programs for people who want to come back. And, because technology is something, it depends on how long your break has been. If you have been on a very extended break, then yes, the technology that you might be working on is totally obsolete, and, it's not relevant anymore. So I think, like, everything that we just discussed, that, first you have to identify which area you want to upskill on, learn that, get yourself ready, and just go ahead and present yourself. So choose organizations who are giving all of these opportunities for people who are accepting women coming after a career break. So just go and hunt for them.
Great. Thank you so much, Ramya. And that brings us to the end of this discussion, which was really, really exciting for me. I mean, very insightful, and I hope it was the same for all those who were listening in. Thanks a lot, Ramya and Shrija, for being part of this discussion. And over to you, Ria.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity as well. Yeah. Thank you, Manisha and Ria. Lakshmi.
Thank you, Manisha, for such wonderful moderation as always. And of course, a very big thank you to Ramya and Srisha for sharing such interesting insights. So we touched upon so many aspects of exploration, upskilling, leveraging technology, acknowledgement of the things that go on in the background when you feel underconfident, and how you jump back through support systems, how it's okay to ask for help, building your self-confidence, all of this when you are paving the way to returning to work. We also saw folks in chat stating how your candid sharing really helped them connect so well with the talks. So thank you so much once again, Ramya and Shrisha, for taking out the time and sharing such important insights with us. Thank you
so
to
much for having us
pleasure.
here. It was a pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you to the audience for
everyone.
your wonderful participation. And Diversity Mahotsav, it's obviously special because of you, all of you. And I would once again like to thank our partners, powered by partner Kellogg Brown and Root Engineering and Construction India Private Limited, and supporting partner Genesis and EPAM, and our outreach partner MCCI, Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Our social media hashtags are #Diversity Mahotsav, #Celebrating Diversity. Do post your experience at Diversity Mahotsav on your social media handles with these hashtags. On behalf of Team Avtar, I thank each and every one of you and welcome you to the next 13 days of Diversity Mahotsav. Please remember, Diversity Mahotsav is between December 1 to 22nd, only on weekdays between 4 and 5 p.m. As we draw close to the day and of course the weekend, I'm going to request you all to take a couple of minutes and provide your feedback on today's session. I request my colleague to please bring up the poll. Yes. How would you rate today's session on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the minimum and 5 being the maximum? Second question is, how would you rate our speaker session on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the minimum and 5 being the maximum? Is there anything else you wished we covered in the session, in today's topic? And would you like to suggest a topic that you wish to hear from us during the Diversity Mahotsav? If yes, please do share your suggestions in the text box. And also, what is your takeaway from today's session? I will give all of you a couple of seconds to complete the survey. We also have another exciting session planned for all of you on Monday, which is on December 11th. It's titled Pride and Beyond, How to Deal with Professional Exclusion. So please do join us for this session. And you can visit www.myavatar.com to explore various opportunities and activities that celebrate diversity. If you have not yet registered at myavatar.com, do log on to the website, which is myavatar.com, and please register now. Browse through, to find jobs that might suit your skill sets, read articles of interest, upskill yourself through various webinars conducted exclusively for you. Signing off for now, I am Riya Sakardande. Great to meet all of you. Take care and stay safe.